All right, now talking about skills, we actually have a skilled photographer in the studio with us today. He's a professional photographer. His name is Kabir-RK, and he's here in the studio to talk to us on, his journey into photography and how lucrative. We love to know how lucrative a certain business is. To know if you could actually, join the business. How lucrative it is in Nigeria. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on
Good
Daybreak
morning.
Extra.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so now, let's get down to the basics. How you look like a young person. I'm actually tempted to ask you how old you are. Are you 14?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm
he
not.
definitely doesn't look
Honestly,
14. Unless it's football age we're talking about. If it's football age, yeah, then he could be like
yes,
12.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, like you're 16.
Yeah, exactly.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Exactly.
I'm actually 22,
Oh, fantastic.
and I was born and raised in Kano. I did my primary and secondary school education in Kano State. Right after that, I jumped into university at Al-Qalam University, Katsina. I graduated just recently, 2021, with a second class upper degree at
Wow.
BSc Biology. And right after that, I'm now a federal government property, serving my NYC here in Abuja.
Okay. All right, so why photography and when did you start?
Actually, I've been a fan of photography for quite a while because I've been a passionate person. I've been passionate about a lot of things. Like when I see something and I'm enthusiastic, I just want to try it. So I usually started photography with just my phone. I think my first phone, which inspired me to join photography, was my Infinix Hot 6. That was back in, I think, 4 years ago. I had a friend back in university that we would practice together. He will inform me about the basics. That time I didn't even know what photography is all about, but I just had a passion for it. So he usually guides me through it. And after that, I started my research 2 years ago. I've been practicing, with the support of family and stuff. I'll carry phones, take pictures, edit them on a phone. And sometimes you see pictures that I edit on a phone. Some people will be like, did you shoot this on a camera? I'll be like, no, it's just a phone. So just recently I got my first camera and I dived into the business, and it's been an amazing journey for me so far, honestly.
So what kind of pictures do you generally take? Is it portraits of people? Is it abstract pictures?
Yes, for the reason why...
Or do you take everything?
No.
Okay.
Actually, photography has a variety of genres to choose from. So in order to improve from professionals, as I learned during my research days, is you can choose 3 genres and you practice under them. Right now, I'm practicing on portraits, self-portraits, or single-person portraits, which I use myself as a model, honestly, because I don't have anyone to help me around. And street photographs, I took some of them around the city of Abuja when I'm strolling around. And then animals and kind of abstract portraitures, honestly. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey, honestly. And I keep learning every day because photography is an art that you strive for and you learn every day, just like every other skill. And with the little kids I have, honestly, it's been an amazing journey. So my advice to everyone who is trying to join it is use what you have, practice, research, learn, and with time, the sky will be a person's limit, honestly.
So if I'm not mistaken, you also shoot people, right?
Yes.
All right, so how do you make people feel comfortable in front of the camera?
Well, honestly, there was this young boy that I took his picture, but just, I think, 2 weeks ago. When the boy saw me, he was like, he saw the camera on my hand and he was like, how much? He didn't bother about the camera. He just asked me how much was the camera. I was like, why would you bother about the price? But he was like, no, please tell me. I was like, but before I tell you the money, I will have to take a picture of you. But he was like, no. Like, his smile attracted me so much that I was like, nah.
You need to take
So I just take it. He was trying to kind of show me that he's not interested, but I was like, no, stand. So he was smiling, took a couple pictures of him. And just like that, sometimes you'll have to comfort people. And there are certain people that will be like, no, insecure. They don't want it. And it's fine. Respect people's opinion. Don't kind of scare off your clients or people you are shooting, because that's the basic rule of street photography, which is an aspect I choose. Like, make sure you don't make people uncomfortable. Like, you'll have to kind of make a gesture to make sure that they are comfortable with you taking a picture of them. And sometimes you can even show them, like, just take a look at this.
It actually reminds me of a photographer, a street photographer in Lagos. Recently, I actually saw this drummer. You know, all these drummers that actually move around to sing for people. And then he saw him and he made him feel comfortable.
I saw that too.
Yes, took a picture of him and he sold the portrait for hundreds of naira, hundreds of thousands of naira, and gave him the proceeds.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did. Gave him the proceeds.
Well, that's nice.
So,
you're an up-and-comer, yeah?
Yes.
Have you started making any money?
Not yet, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You haven't started making any money?
Yes.
All right. So, but we hope that you're going to start.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good.
Inshallah.
The pictures that you actually take, because we actually saw a couple of being shown. Yes, as we were talking. So the pictures that you actually take, how do we know that they're yours? I mean, like, how do you copyright them? How do I see a picture now and I know that it's yours?
Yes, there's this watermarking that you do. As you can see, it's there. My name there, that's usually my username on all of my platforms, Rabiu Kabir Photography. So I just kind of edited my name. I did an O before the U, then double E instead of an I, because, you know, it's common. So I would like to be unique. And almost all my platforms are like that. Rabiu Kabir, with the Rabiu with an OU, and the Kabir with an ER. If you check me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, LinkedIn, a couple of social media platforms, those are mine. So that's uniquely mine.
Okay.
So with that, Rabiu Kabir Photography, that's what I'm aspiring to keep as my brand. As my friend once told me, your name is the best brand name you can have. So that's what I'm trying to stick to for now, inshallah.
Okay, so do you have mentors in photography that you follow?
Actually, my mentors would be my friends that were into the business professionally.
Okay.
There was one, Abakar, he's back in my hometown in Kano. There's Salim, which was my colleague in university, that he guided me through the basics. Then I'm a YouTube student, honestly. I learned most of the skills I have now from YouTube. Like, I started watching YouTube videos and just assimilating the knowledge since 2019. I would watch videos, understand what it meant. I actually took it serious just last year.
Okay.
So I got serious. I don't know, I've watched at least almost hundreds of videos from now, which one of the basic rule I learned is a camp rule. Like, before you take a picture, number one factor is your composition. Composition is basically how you take the picture, the location, like where your subject stands. If it's a street photography, the style or the angle where you shoot the picture. Then ambient light, that's another major factor in photography. If you don't have a good light, you'll never have a good picture. Without a good light, you'll never have a good. Then number three, modify. Modification is simply just tweaking your settings, shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. Shutter speed is the speed at which the shutter opens and snaps a picture. If it's a slow shutter speed, let's say 1/30th of a second or 1 second, then you might get a blurry or maybe a long exposed picture. If it's a fast shutter speed for fast moving objects, you'll have a still picture. Then aperture, which is the portrait, like depth of field, which is measured in f-stops, f2 to f22, and it varies from lenses. There's f1.8, f1.2. So the lower the aperture number, the more depth of field and the more light the lens comes in, because the lens has an opening just like this. So if you have an aperture of f2, the opening will be wide. But if it's f11, it will be small, letting small light in. And then there's ISO. ISO is basically fake light. For example, I want to shoot you and there's minimal amount. So
light.
no, you don't use a flashlight. You use from the camera ISO.
Wow.
So it's measured in hundreds, 100, 200, 400, 500, 1,000. But the issue with ISO is you'll have to keep it as low as 1,000. Because when you go above 1,000, you'll begin to have noise. And noise is basically that kind smudges you see on a picture, and the picture is not that clear.
All right. So, sorry to cut you short, but we're in the middle of a masterclass. You should charge for that, actually. Yeah. So, what I want to ask is, you take a variety of pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have to use a variety of cameras to take different kinds of pictures, or is it just the lens that you change?
No, actually, sometimes it's not about the camera.
Okay.
Because from the mentorship that are like the videos, almost all of them said the same thing. It's not about the gear.
Okay.
It's about you as the photographer. Are you creative enough? Like you just have to use your mind. Like
But the
sometimes
gear actually should matter. I mean, like if I'm using a camera that has there's not sharp enough, and
Yes.
somebody's using a sharper camera, even if I have better skills, I think his
no,
shots will be better than mine.
There are pictures, like there were competitions that I've seen where a sharp, like a high-end full-frame camera was competing with a low-end DSLR camera, or maybe you can call it a small frame camera, APS-C. So when you take the pictures and you compare them honestly, sometimes your eyes will kind of disappoint you. Like you see a picture so sharp, so crisp, you'll think it was captured with a high-end picture, but it was shot with a low-end camera. And you might see a picture shot on a high-end camera, and you'll think, like on a low-end camera, and you think it's from a high-end camera. So the vice versa.
So it's all about the skills?
It's about the skills that you acquire, honestly.
Okay.
It's not about the gear.
So it's not about, how expensive the camera is.
Yes. That's honestly almost, but there are pros to having high-end gadgets, honestly.
Like?
For a full-frame camera, you have wider space of capturing your subject. And for a DSLR, the one I use, like APS-C small frame, you have a limited space. Because now, if I were to capture it with a full frame, I might have a wider space. I might take an angle, a lot of space. But with my APS-C, I will have to just limit myself to a certain point.
So there's a criticism of you modern photographers that you actually take a lot of fake pictures. Fake pictures in the sense that I remember back in the days when we used to use film. You understand, when you used to go, you develop in the dark room and whatnot, and all these things.
Those are real pictures.
You understand? So yeah, exactly, because they give you exactly what you see is what you get.
Of course,
what you see is what you get. But these ones you have digital pictures.
Yes.
You take the pictures, then you put them on your computer with the little gizmos and whatnot. What you put mustaches on people and all these things. So that is the criticism. There are lots of fake pictures out there. So you might not even, the picture that you've taken might not be as sharp or as crispy as what was supposed to be. But then you put it inside a computer, you put all the gizmos, and then you clean it up and whatnot. So really, it's not really your skills as a photographer, but your skills as an editor that actually show. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, that's the benefit of having the apps. That's the use of the apps, to make you hone your craft, honestly. Because honestly, I've taken a lot of pictures with my phone to the extent that most of my friends will be like, "Guy, did you use a camera on this picture?" I was like, "No, it's just an edit." So actually, the best thing about it's not about the criticism. Yeah, it's there. You'll be criticized, but I don't worry about that because it's the job. Photoshop is there to help you touch skin tones, like all those boils and pimples to go away. So it was meant for that, and people love that. Like that's what most women kind of engage in now. So like they just want to have a smoother face.
But you have
we are here for you.
You have purists who want to see the natural grit.
Yes, that's why for now, honestly, I don't use soft retouching. It's called retouching. I don't use it. All my pictures are totally shot natural, no retouching, just minor tweaks of exposure, highlights.
So what if the client wants some retouch?
If a client's then he'll have to, there's a pay for that, because there's a basic rule, if you're a photographer, you'll have to have a kind of a flyer, you have to set your contract. Okay. You sit with your client, talk with them, these are my pictures, these are the kinds I took, they are natural looks, retouched ones, so which ones would you like? If you want a retouched picture, it has to go through a lot of processes, because first you'll have to edit the whole picture, adjust the exposure, the dynamic range, the vignetting, the curves, color correction, and a lot of stuffs are done before retouching. So if you want retouching, that's extra hours of working. Because right now, after a photo shoot, I actually spend more than 2 hours on just 30 pictures or less. Sometimes I spend 2 hours editing 30 or less pictures. And just recently,
quite quick.
Yes, because sometimes there's a setting that you use now. The next picture you will look like, so these settings will work. So you just copy and paste it on the other picture. If there's any kind of mistouch, then you just adjust them
Okay,
slightly.
now you talked about being a core member now.
Yes.
Okay, so we want to know if you intend on making, photography a career path, or would you want to work a 9 to 5 job?
Honestly, for now, since I'm just beginning to grow my career, I think I'll follow the rule of Robert Kiyosaki, where he said, if you are building a business, and actually it's a business that doesn't require much of your time, don't drop your daytime job for it, because your daytime job saves you from a lot of kind of bills and stuff. So at the end of the day, you have a certain amount of money that you always receive at the end of the month. And photography, actually, one of the best part is, if you choose, you can choose to work day. After the work day, you rest. At night, you go out, snap night portraits, and come back. Those also sell out, honestly. There are a lot of night portrait photographers out there, and they'll go out, snap pictures, and come back. And during the daytime, like weekends, one mentor once said, use the weekend to build the life you want. So you just have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, use the weekend to hone your craft, build your career. Your weekdays, just go to work, gather your money, and at a certain point in time where you are successful, that you don't need that job, you are free to resign and just pursue your career and do that. That's actually what I'm aspiring to do.
So we talked about social media earlier.
Yes.
You have about handles in all
Yes.
different social media platforms and whatnot. So what do you do with all these social media handles? You paste your work there so that people can advertise your work?
Yes, honestly, there was this time, because that time I didn't had a different account for my work.
Okay.
My brother, actually, one of my brothers actually called me, guy, I have a work for you, but the woman insisted that you must have an Instagram page. I was like, bro, I don't have an Instagram page for my work now. So he was like, no, but it's a good opportunity. I was like, can she just accept me? I'll bring the work to her on my PC. He was like, nah, she doesn't want that. She just wants to see the work on my. So right now I already have a page. I've uploaded a couple of pictures, videos. My logo is there, but I'll grow the account with time. As you know, time is a major factor of every career, because that's one of our major downside in this generation. We are being kind of like deceived by the media that you'll have to be rich quick, or you have to be successful quick, be famous, be TikTok or Instagram famous early. But that's not the key. If you don't, Gary Vee once said, instead of trying to impress people fast, why don't you impress yourself slow? So that's what I'm like. Take my time to hone my craft, grow my accounts as I'm doing now. Because I just yesterday, I posted a video of my work on my brand account. Just a short video of me shooting the pictures, and the pictures next. The next picture, it had, like, from yesterday night to this morning, it had almost 2,000 views on Instagram Reels. 2,000 views. Like, I was shocked. I was expecting less than 500. And the account was just fresh, just 55 followers on the account. But I was surprised that I had 2,000 views on that video. So honestly, it's a good thing to just be patient, work your craft, keep posting, have your friends patronize you, like share your work, and kind of sometimes show yourself in the picture so that people will know you are a human being and not a robot. There are catfish accounts out there.
Right.
So sometimes just kind of shoot yourself, be behind the camera.
Put yourself out there.
Yeah, just put yourself out there, honestly.
Okay.
So, what is that one thing you actually wish you knew when you started taking pictures?
Actually, the one thing is to not be in a rush, because I'm kind of a person that's too enthusiastic. Like, whenever I just want to be quick and shoot it. But whenever you see something and you want to capture it, you'll have to be slow, and you'll have to compose yourself.
What if you miss the opportunity?
So it's a missed opportunity, honestly. Like yesterday, when I went out for my photo shoot in our estate, I just went to the top hill, and I saw a lizard, honestly. Like, he was sitting on a stool.
The same lizard.
I think the picture is there.
Yeah.
That one, yes, that one. Like, you see him like that. Like,
The lizard was watching
like,
you as well.
it's like he was watching me when I was taking the pictures. And believe me, all the pictures I took, most of them, I took them alone. I'll just have to set the settings with my camera app, The camera app is available on Play Store, Canon camera app. So I connect my camera using my phone, so I'll just control everything. Like if you see the way I took his picture, like I had to be so quiet, like a cheetah trying to hunt its prey. Like just standing.
He was
Capture
posing
like,
for the camera.
and
It was actually posing for the camera.
yes, it's like he knew I was taking his picture, and he was like, yeah. give
I
me
think
that
it's
picture.
I think it's a model.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it's a model. Yeah, in the lizard world, I think it's actually a model. I think it's one of the best models out there.
Which is your favorite lens to use?
For now, I have a 35mm prime lens, and honestly, all the pictures I took on them are just dope. But this one I just think is my kit lens, 18-55, and right now, I think I would love to have the 70-200mm or the 85mm, because usually almost all the professionals are kind of recommending it.
So now it's all about the gear. Now we're talking about gear now.
Yeah.
It's not gear.
No, there's a gear for every work now. Like you see this laser picture. If I had a 70-200mm lens, it would have been more sharp, more crisp. But using the edits as you saw, like the picture was just.
All right. So right now I'm this lizard's agent. So when you sell this picture, now you're going to have to bring something for me so that I can take it to the lizard.
Yeah. If you are his agent there, and you'll have to bring him to me himself, so we can discuss the.
So one thing I want to ask is with buy and sell businesses, okay, I know how much I buy this newspaper.
Yes.
I buy it for $50 and I go and I sell it for 70. You know, I know how much I sew this. All right, it cost me 20 naira to do this, so I sell it for 25. But with a picture now, you take a picture of this lizard, and Mr. Lizard comes and says, okay, I want to buy this picture. How do you put a price on your picture?
Number one, I would take like the effort it took me to shoot the picture. Like,
Okay.
Now that's number one. Number two, like the time and the patience it took me to kind of just find the right angle to shoot him. I'll add that to the question. And number two, the time it took me to edit the picture. So usually combining these elements, since you are talking about the laser shot, but if it was a human, it will have to deal with the location we decided to take the picture, how long it will take for the session, because you know there are photo shoots personal, there are weddings, there are kind of personal shoots where a person will just call you, I want to invite you, we go there. So usually it's all about the time, the edits, the work, time it took you for the edits, and
no, for example,
the last one is just for a label.
So for example, now an abstract picture, all right? I see a picture and I like it, and I was like, who took this picture? And he was like, this guy, new guy. And okay, I want to buy this particular picture. For example, now you took a picture of Daily Trust building. Yeah,
Yes.
Daily Trust comes and we want to buy this picture from you. How do you cost a picture like that?
Well, honestly, I'll have to look at.
The client?
Yes.
So you charge
No, it's not about the client. It's about since it's Daily Trust. It's a nationwide kind of. It's a popular kind of brand. Like people know it. Whenever you hear Daily Trust, oh yeah, I know Daily Trust now. They know everything about this country. So I'll be like, okay, let me use this opportunity. It will be a deal.
to blow.
So you see, I will have to charge Daily Trust a small amount of money, and the remaining portion that I didn't charge, I would ask that they please patronize my work.
Well, you know, it's actually a win-win thing.
Yes,
because,
so it's a win-win. So you buy from me at a price that you will enjoy, and you kind of patronize my work too. At that time,
become like an official photographer.
yes. So at that time, you see, Daily Trust as a brand has shown the nation that we encourage photographers. Now that we buy from photographers, and we don't care how long they are in the business. It's all about their skills and the good and the perfection of their craft. Like if the product or service they offer is good, we are willing to take it, no matter the age, or maybe the range of who you are.
Okay.
There's no judgment there. So yeah,
Right.
and you self as a photographer, you will have many kind of
the exposure.
exposure, yes, and experience of being around Daily Trust and stuff.
All right. So now, right, there are lots of platforms out there where you can actually, post pictures.
Yes.
You take and sell them.
Yes.
Are you in any of such platforms?
Now, no. like the guy with the NFT. It's an NFT that he sold. That's the term of the picture. The drum guy sold. It's called an NFT, non-fungible token. It's a kind of a digital asset where it's been sold. There are digital assets that cost over $1 million.
Definitely.
Many have been sold. So in those platforms, you actually just create your craft, post it, wait for time. Maybe somebody might see it, he likes it, he buys it. So, right now I have a friend that's into the business, so I'm willing to go to him and learn, honestly.
Okay, so now I know the camera is important when you're going out for work, and also the lens.
Yes.
Besides these two, what other items should a photographer actually tag along with? Very important item.
Very important. You need a lens. You need a tripod.
Okay.
Tripod for still photos. Like if you don't want to, kind of have a shaky footage, you need a tripod. Place your phone. The tripod is one. Number two, right now with the ones I use, you need a reflector or diffuser or 5-in-1 reflector, which has almost 5 sides.
Okay.
That one helps in reflecting light. Maybe when there's no source of light and you don't have anyone to help you, so you can just use it to bounce the light on your subject. Number two, strobes and speed lights. Number three, lens hoods to protect your lens. And number three, camera cleaning gear. So far, those I think to me now are the side kind of gadgets you need.
Okay, just a follow-up. Now, aside all these gadgets, when you talk about all the gadgets that you have, which one do you wish you hadn't bought? Which is the least important that you wish you hadn't bought?
Yeah, I hadn't bought now. Honestly, now I don't have any because I think it's just the speed light that I have now. It's not compatible with my camera. And since I'm not the one that actually bought it, it was bought from abroad, so I don't have to blame the one who bought it. That's why
it was a gift.
Yeah, it was a gift. So I didn't actually told him that it's not compatible with my camera. So I'm trying to maybe, if I go home, I'll go to the market, discuss with business like shops that have it,
and then swap.
Swap, yes. That's what I'm looking forward to, honestly.
Right. So right now, your business, you're just starting.
Yes.
You're learning the craft,
Yes.
learning the business at the same time. All right. So what's the plan now? Is it for you to start to dive straight into it? You understand? Start being commissioned for portraits, weddings, events, and whatnot. Or are you going to be more artistic on the whole situation and go to galleries and start talking about art shows and whatnot?
Yes.
And what's the plan?
Honestly, right now my plan is since I give myself now, so I just have to maybe share with you. Right now, I give myself 6 months to kind of learn almost the basic things I need to approach that angle of professionalism, like to dive into the business and get money. I give myself 6 months to learn. So on what I'm intending to do now with the amount of resources I have, I'm diving into maybe weddings or events, self-portraits, maybe portraits of people. If anybody wants me to shoot a portrait of him, like you as here, and you want me to kind of shoot you some pictures that you might want to, you and Mr. Lizard want to share. So yeah, some things like that.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm aspiring. That's why I'm using street photography to kind of understand how to kind of go around the camera sharp, so I can, though it's not about a rush, it's about maybe taking your time, having the right composition, taking the right picture. Don't rush to avoid having blurry images or unsharp images. So that's all about now, honestly. I just want to go events, weddings, self-portraits, maybe street, and something. I think I might dive into sports. In the near future.
Okay. So what about exhibitions? Do you plan on doing an exhibition of your work anytime
soon? Yes, with time, honestly. With time, if I started printing my work out, I will make frames, and as time goes on, when I have my studio or gallery of my own, inshallah, I will host an exhibition.
Is it part of the plan for you to get a gallery?
Yes. I plan on doing something like that in the future and sell my work.
Okay, so have you photographed any celebrity?
Celebrity? For now, I think the only celebrity I took his picture of, which I don't have now, like I didn't add it to the files, is the personal photographer to the Deputy Speaker of the nation.
Okay.
He's the only celebrity to me now. Like, he was with me. I took his picture and he was like, your work is nice. I was shocked when he told me he was the personal photographer to the Deputy Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I was like, you are commending my work. Then I must be doing something good.
Doing something right.
Definitely, you must
And
be doing something
honestly, when I came here too, or that was a few days ago before I got this invitation, which I'm truly honored and it's my pleasure to be here. When I showed the staffs like my work, and everybody was like, "Wow!" Like the impressions I got actually got me shocked. I was like, "This is just to me, like this is just a normal edit."
Ibrahim is actually a celebrity, so when you're done, you can take a picture.
Yes, I am.
You add that to the
I am. You don't have to say it. You don't have to say it with a smirk on your face. I am.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Then,
I accept
then
it.
a free photo shoot for
he
you.
knows.
to
He knows. He knows that I am.
So,
you don't have to say it with a smirk on your
all right.
face.
So no, I think I already know the answer to this question I'm about to ask. Yeah.
Yes.
But which, amongst all the pictures that you've taken,
Yes.
which is your favorite picture?
Oh God, that's a big one. Honestly, I think there was a picture.
It's not the lizard.
I think for now it's my best because I had to like the time it took and the effort. Like this picture, I love it honestly. My sister had to complain about like, why are you not back home? You are supposed to take us, not a lizard. I was like, will you patronize my business now or what? You just want the free pictures, but this lizard can buy me something.
So, but you're about to talk about one other picture.
Honestly, now there was this picture of a plant that I took. It was so focused. I think it's there, like a plant, like just its bud.
Okay.
Like the focus actually, like I was impressed. Like, and I loved the picture. Yeah, I think
this
so.
is the same
Yes.
one?
No, there was another one. And the second one would be my picture.
Okay.
The one I took in an ash clothing, I think.
Okay.
Or I think there was one that I took in an ash clothing like that.
Okay. So
I love it, honestly.
So any advice for startups or up and coming photographers like you?
What I will tell them first is don't rush yourself. Be patient. Go easy on yourself. Because if you are too hard on yourself, you might not understand what you need to understand, honestly. Because my basic, let me just share sharp, like, let me just be quick with you. I got these gadgets in exchange for a phone. The person that got me the gadgets asked me, I'm buying you a new phone. What would you, which brand would you like? Would you like an iPhone 13 Pro Max? I was like, iPhone 13 Pro Max in Nigeria, it's around #1 million. Instead of it, this is something I'm trying to do. I was like, no, don't get that for me. This is what I need. I would love to have an iPhone 13 Pro Max now, but I decided, no, that's not what I need. So the youths need to understand you'll have to give up the things you desire for the things you need that will build you in the future. All these iPhone trends and other stuff will be history in less than 2 years. There will be nothing. But when you have the right things, don't rush, work hard, practice. Like learn from people, like ask questions when you are curious. Don't be shy to go out there and learn. Because I'm kind of an introverted person actually. Sometimes I'd like to stay within I had to isolate myself. But once I started this journey, I was like, bro, drop that aside. So I just, that's all I can say, honestly.
So thank you so much, Kabir-R Hassan, for
thank you very much.
a wonderful time, on photography, or a session on photography, on Daybreak Extra today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much too.